All right, hey guys, welcome to the video. If you're new here, my name's Curtis, and today we're gonna be talking about one of the newest extraits released from the house of Les Indemodables called Rose de Jamal Extrait. So if you're curious to hear my thoughts and opinions on this fragrance, then let's go. So here is my bottle of Rose de Jamal Extrait, and I wanna say that I have the EDP version as well. And you might think, okay, well Curtis, you have the EDP, why did you order this extrait? Well, for me, I love the EDP. It is definitely one of the best rose fragrances in my collection, but that fragrance can be slightly fleeting in the sense, and I kind of desired a bit more longevity from it. So, I could just respray it to fix the problem, but, I was thinking, I'm curious to see how this extrait kind of performs. I got the extrait with the hopes of I would layer both fragrances to extend the longevity. But, I'm not going to be talking about how the two fragrances work in conjunction today. I'm just going to be giving you my review on this extrait here. So yeah, let's jump into it. So here is my bottle of Rose de Jamal Extrait. And one thing that I'll say about this, one thing that I don't like about this bottle is that it tends to leak. So if you put it upside down, the juice tends to leak out. And so when actually I had ordered this one from the Les Indemodables website, and so when this was shipped to me, some of this had leaked out. And so my box was smelling amazing, and it was smelling just like this, but yeah, it had leaked out, and these bottles do leak. So you need to be careful the way you store these. Do not store them upside down or on their side. They need to be stored upright, just like this. And they are quite thin, so you can see if they get tapped just a little bit, they fall right over. So you need to be careful with the way that you store these. So I have mine kind of pinched in between two other bottles, and I just kind of keep it upright just like that. So yeah, that's one thing that I didn't really like about that. But if you undo the cap here, you can see that this is a roll-on. It's not a spray. So for all of their extraits, I think Vanille Havane, Rose de Jamal here, and also Orange Sirocco, those are the three extraits that they have. They're all three roll-ons. So, man, but just undoing that cap, catching the whiffs, it smells absolutely amazing. I love the smell of this rose. This is one of the most beautiful roses I've ever smelled. Amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on I'll put it on my right hand here. Just give it a good little roll on there. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is nice. Yeah, you can see it's on right there. Put the cap back on here. Yeah, so, man, this smells amazing. This smells absolutely amazing. Again, one of my most favorite roses in perfumery for sure. Actually, I just want to put a little bit more on because I just love the smell of this so much. I'm just going to put a little on my arm here as well. Maybe a little bit up my arm. I just love this. But anyways, yeah, let me go ahead and jump into this. So what I get from this fragrance is basically I get a natural, very natural green, fresh rose. But I feel like the greenness isn't necessarily coming from the rose per se, but it could be coming from other notes that are in this fragrance. All right, so my image of this rose is if it's transparent, but it has like a slight pink tone to it. So you can still kind of see through the rose, but it is pink. So this is kind of like a beautiful pink, very, very fresh rose. And that's combined beautifully with some geranium that's in here. And I feel like that geranium is bringing kind of like a green, almost stemmy-like presence to this rose. Also, there's a bit of mint in here, but the mint, that mint in here isn't like mentholy mint or toothpastey mint. And in fact, it's quite subdued. Like I really don't pick up on the mint so much in here. I pick more so up on kind of like the greenness, and that could be, the mint could be contributing to that, or that could also be from the geranium. But there is a heavy aromatic presence to here, to this fragrance as well. There's also, and that could be from the lavender. There's some lavender used in here, and you know, lavender is quite aromatic. It is an aromatic note, and so yeah, that could be what is also kind of contributing to this. And one thing that I really love about Les Indemodables, and you may not know this, but the reason why it's called Rose de Jamal. So basically this is Moroccan rose, and so they source their ingredients, their rose ingredients, from Morocco, and it is from a gentleman named Jamal who actually produces these roses. So in a way, this fragrance kind of pays tribute to him because they are his roses. So his first name is Jamal, so they just called this fragrance Rose de Jamal. So, you know, it is, man, one of the highest tributes I guess you can get, having a fragrance almost kind of named after you. But yeah, they source all their roses from his, I guess, rose farm, or whatever you would call that. I don't know if it's considered a rose farm or how you would call that, someone who harvests roses. But yeah, and this one also, I get kind of a very, very subtle cedarwood presence from this. There is also cedarwood in here, so it has a slight woody presence to this. But in the dry down, when this one starts to dry down, there's almost kind of like a slight, very, very slight fruitiness that's coming from this. And to be honest, I don't know what that's coming from. Whether that's coming from the rose. Rose can kind of have some slightly fruity-like qualities. So maybe it's coming from that, or it's coming from something else that I'm unaware of. But there is a very, very subtle slight fruitiness that's coming from here, as well as an underlying kind of velvety-like creaminess. And that's where I feel like that rose kind of transforms slightly here. I feel like it's going from that pink, kind of smooth, very fresh, you know, green rose, and then as it kind of transforms, it's not necessarily becoming darker, but it's like the texture of the rose is changing to more of like smooth, to more of like a velvety texture, which in turn is kind of adding like a subtle creaminess to this. And that's what I get. But gosh, this rose is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, and in a future video, I'm going to be doing a video talking about the layering combination of the extrait and the EDP. For me, it kind of brings, or kind of pushes this fragrance in a slightly different direction on that same path, but kind of, you know, it adds a different dimension to the experience, to the wearing experience. So I wanted to talk about that in a later video, but I'm still kind of playing around with this layering combination a little bit. I have only done it a few times, but there's like a true magic about this whenever you layer the EDP and the extrait together that is just amazing. I mean, the level of this rose fragrance is here, but when you layer those two, it pushes it up to here. There's a true magic that really happens in that. So after I kind of, you know, experience that layering combination a little bit more, then I'll talk about that, and I'd like to share that experience with you guys. Yeah, so also let me comment on the longevity of this fragrance and its performance a little bit. So in terms of projection, I'm not getting like a heavy projection. Like I would say it's a more of a moderate to intimate style of projection. However, I would say the sillage is definitely there. When I wear this fragrance, I can definitely catch whiffs. You know, whenever I'm moving around, it is coming up to hit me in the nose. And that's what I want. I would definitely prefer sillage over projection any day. So I would say in terms of its sillage, it leaves a nice sillage. I wouldn't say it's anything like a beastly sillage, but I would say it's a it's an elegant sillage, and that's something, that's the perfect type of sillage for this style of fragrance, in my opinion. In terms of its longevity, I'm getting about 8 hours or so, which is slightly longer than the EDP in terms of my own wearing experience. So yeah, 8 hours, possibly 9, but about 8 hours in general. So yeah, I mean, it's a nice longevity with this extrait. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for some kind of, because this is an extrait, if you're assuming that this is gonna give you some type of beast mode performance, it's definitely not that. But yeah, this is just truly an amazing fragrance. I mean, I can't speak more highly about Les Indemodables as a brand and just the quality in fragrance that they produce. And if you're unaware, the perfumer behind many of the Les Indemodables fragrances, not all of them, but I would say the majority of them, is Antoine Lee. And I would say, you know, I have experienced his work through other fragrance houses, but I would say probably some of his best work has been done through Les Indemodables. But yeah, he is an amazing perfumer who I have a ton of respect for. And after, you know, I've experienced some of his fragrance through Les Indemodables, I've been searching out some of his other works and other fragrances, and actually one that I just tested out this past weekend from Laboratorio Olfativo, called Underground Vibes. It's their newest release. Now that is a very artistic fragrance. But yeah, I'm planning to talk about that one in a future video. I don't own a bottle, but I'd still like to share my thoughts since I did sample that one on skin. I don't know if that is fully down my, if I'm ready for that type of fragrance. I mean, that is extremely artistic. So I may not be ready for that one, but I can appreciate, you know, the art in that fragrance, and the creativity behind that. But yeah, if you guys are familiar with the house of Les Indemodables, definitely check them out. Like I said, they use high quality ingredients, and you can tell when you smell these fragrances. And one thing that I love, they list their oil concentrations on their website with all of their fragrances. It's not just like, oh yeah, we've used Moroccan rose. They're like, we've used Moroccan rose oil. Here's the percentage that we used in this fragrance. So that's something that not all fragrance companies do. So I have a lot of respect for Les Indemodables for doing that. And I wish more fragrance companies, fragrance houses would do that, so that we could actually see the percentage of oil that's used in, you know, that particular fragrance. But man, stunning rose fragrance, and you should definitely check out this house and Rose de Jamal, whether it's the EDP or the extrait. They're both absolutely amazing on their own. But like I said, when you combine these two, and I will be talking about this in a future video, magic. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's content, and let me know down in the comments section, have you tried any fragrances from the house of Les Indemodables? What are your thoughts and opinions on them as a house? Well, I hope you guys are staying healthy and well, and I'll see you in the next video.